All right, everybody. Tim Chief Meteorologist Bobby Deskus here. Rick Kirby is in here.
Yeah.
Autumn Robertson is in the area. We're all in here right now. Got to get you updated on some changes that have happened throughout the day today. Number one, and probably most important, is that we're now expecting a minimal Category 1 hurricane to form here. If not by the 5 p.m. update coming up here in about 45 minutes, then by the 8 p.m. update. That's the latest from the Hurricane Center. So let's get right into it right now. There's an echo.
Yeah, an echo. So let's, I don't know if these up another mic somewhere. I'm watching it with it.
How about now?
Let me go back.
Go back now and check and tell me if it's still an echo. Sorry, guys, we're trying to work on the echo issue that you're hearing here. Still there. Okay. Okay, we got it, guys. All right, sorry about that. All right, so let's get right into it. You can see the track, right by us. It's coming up tonight. You can see, actually, also, notice where the center is here, right? And there's nothing over here. You can actually see some of the low-level clouds here. There's a lot of shear blowing in from the west to the east. It's blowing all the convection up in our direction, so we're going to see a lot of the rainfall from it as well, too. Let's get down in tight here now. You can see the center, again, is sitting right in there. You also notice there is a little bit of an eye trying to form. It's kind of filled in a little bit. It's hard to say if that's the actual eye right there, but you can see it's actually trying to wrap a little bit of moisture around, so there is some strengthening. Now look, I know it may seem a little bit kind of scary, like what, a hurricane? You know, well, we were thinking 65 to 70 mile per hour winds. Hurricane starts at 74. This is 4 miles off of what we were thinking. So this is kind of in the ballpark. But the other side of that is that this is a small system. That's about 62 miles wide, right? Tropical storm force winds go out about 70. Hurricane force winds aren't even in there yet, and if they do, they're going to be right in the center here, right on this eye wall, and the top part right in here. So an easterly wind, southeasterly wind, and a south wind. That'll be the strongest, right? So keep that in mind as this goes through. Now, let me take you back here because, why is it doing that? Because you can see that we have a tornado watch in effect until 11 o'clock for areas from basically I-4 southward. However, this is just going to get extended up to the north as we go through the evening hour. So everybody will end up likely in a tornado watch for this evening. So a couple things to look at. You can see, obviously, we've got shear. You can see it's blowing everything off in this direction. That orange is dry air. It's trying to get wrapped around here. It will keep it from getting too strong. But does it get to 75? Yeah, probably does. It's got 70 mile per hour winds now, so it's pretty close to it. Let's take a look at current winds around the area. Nothing right now, right? Breeze in Venice, 15 miles per hour, gust to 22 miles per hour. Got a little bit breezy in St. Pete, and St. Pete will have some issues because the wind's going to be coming across the bay, and that bay right there allows the wind to really pick up. So it's going to be breezy there, and winds will only be picking up as we go through the evening hours tonight. Bigger picture for the state, and you can see, look where all the highest winds are. It's almost all offshore, right? But this is moving to the north. And in fact, I think this is offset a little bit. It's likely over here. It's moving to the north. It's going to be very close, so these high winds are going to be coming right up the coast. And I'll get a little bit more detail with that coming up. Here's the forecast track. 8 o'clock tonight. We are looking at it becoming a hurricane, minimal hurricane with 75 mile per hour winds. May happen sooner. Recon's out there, we'll see. 8 o'clock in the morning tomorrow morning, you can see now it's way up here. Now this for Citrus County, really just before dawn, say 4 or 5 in the morning, winds really pick up, and so will the surge. Right around 5 to 6 a.m. This is 8 a.m. You'll still have surge blowing on shore here, a good 3 to 5 foot there. Tampa Bay is actually a 3 to 5 foot storm surge. Through the day tomorrow, everything will be calming down as we go through the afternoon hours. So it's tonight and early tomorrow morning before about sunrise or so. And you can see the interior basically stays just inshore. Now, this is a great graphic here I want to show you. This is going to show you some timing of the wind and how much wind we are expecting. And this is a graphic that comes to us from the Hurricane Center. They produce these colors that you see here. So the yellow is tropical storm force winds. This is 6 o'clock tonight. See down here towards Venice, southern Sarasota County. Yeah, that means we could see winds 35, 40 miles per hour. Probably not a whole lot of it yet, but it will be increasing. Now, 10 o'clock, see the time here, 10 p.m. tonight, winds are rolling in here to southern Pinellas, southern Hillsborough. It's already been here in Sarasota, Manatee. I stopped it here because you see this orange? The orange is 58 mile per hour winds to about 73. The orange is, if it was a regular thunderstorm in the summertime and had high winds, gusty winds, we got a severe thunderstorm warning for it, those start at 58 miles per hour. So that's why we kind of show you this. This could be some damaging winds here. All right, yeah, tropical storm force winds can do a little bit of damage, but you could get a little bit more with this area that's in the orange. The red is where they're forecasting the hurricane force winds to be. Now that's if the center takes this track here. Center's here, highest winds are just to the east of the center. If this comes this way, then this red comes further here. If this goes west, I think it comes, if it doesn't stay on this track, it probably comes a little bit closer to us. So now as we get towards midnight tonight, there we are. We're starting, Manatee County's already seeing those 50 to 60 mile per hour winds, possible, 45, 55. They're just getting towards southern Pinellas County. We get out to 1 in the morning, and now we're starting to watch for the potential for some hurricane force winds. This is not going to be a steady 75 mile per hour wind coming through here, but 60, 65 mile per hour winds coming in, yeah, with some higher gusts. Gusts going to be 70 to 80. That's possible. That is actually possible tonight around 1 a.m. Let's go out to about 3 in the morning, and you can see it's just gone right up the beach. There's Honeymoon Island right there, Clearwater, Indian Rocks right in this area here. So the highest winds, any type of hurricane force winds, right along the immediate coast. Even St. Pete downtown will likely not see hurricane force winds, but it will be windy there. Certainly over in Tampa, less winds than that, and then especially east of I-75. I mean, look at this. We don't even have those 55 to 60 mile per hour winds getting east of I-75 in Hillsborough County. Okay, this is 3 in the morning, by the way. Now let's go out to 5 in the morning, and you can see the hurricane winds starting to stay a little bit further offshore. It will try and weaken a little bit, but what happens is when storms weaken, they end up basically moving and spreading out. So that will get a little bit on the wider side as far as the wind field goes, okay? So we're going to be keeping an eye on this. That just means that some of these tropical storm force winds will get over to eastern Pasco and Hernando County. Now let's go out to around sunrise tomorrow morning, just after sunrise. Crystal River, that's why I'm saying you really need to watch this for the tropical storm force winds are already there. They've been there, the 50 to 60 are there, and now there's a potential for some hurricane force winds, mostly in the 60s to near 70 miles per hour. That's the potential, but that's tomorrow morning just before sunrise. And then after that, guys, things really calm down. This is 9 a.m. You can see Tampa's been fine. That's 11 a.m. And so that's the wind threat. Let's go ahead and show you what it looks like on the forecast model. So this is tonight, and this is what's going to happen tonight. The rain bands that you've seen out there will get more frequent. The winds will pick up when that rain bands comes through. Then the winds will die down a little bit. But steadily what will happen is the overall wind will just gradually increase as we go through tonight. This is 8 o'clock tonight. You can see in the upper right-hand corner our winds estimated out of the east at 24 miles per hour. So already getting breezy in the Tampa area. Now that is 1 in the morning. And the winds are out of the southeast at 45, steady, right, with gusts to near 60. There's the center, sitting right out here. The highest winds are blowing from the east-southeast to the west-northwest across the bay. That's why I say St. Pete downtown, it is going to be windy. 45 in Tampa, that's likely 55. 50 to 55 in St. Pete because it's coming across the water. And that actually happens all the way up. Shore Acres, all the way up to Oldsmar, of course, Safety Harbor. The whole Bayside Bridge area near St. Pete Clearwater Airport. And then we get into 4 in the morning. Here's the center now. Now once the center gets north of your latitude, so here's Tampa, the center's north of there, here comes the wind onshore, right? And that is blowing right into the bay. So this is around 4 o'clock in the morning. So that's when we start to get into our storm surge. I think it starts a little bit sooner than that, but 4 to 6 a.m., according to this particular model, is when we're going to have the most water, and it's probably going to happen right around 4 to 5 o'clock. When the surge first comes in, it's going to get high. 3 to 5 foot is what we're thinking now. Then gradually it'll start to come down. Even though it stays high, it will stay high for a while, but it won't stay at its peak for more than about an hour or two. And then it will be coming back down. But the southwest wind continues. This is about sunrise. That's 9 in the morning. Still a southwest wind, but now it's only blowing around 15, 20, 25 miles per hour. Okay. At one point, it will be blowing a good 45 mile per hour onshore into the bay, and that could put about 3 to 5 foot of water up into the bay. So that's the concern for that. Let me back up here real fast. I don't want to go that far back. Let's come here because I want to talk about Citrus County. Gotta keep this chat up. Flood warnings to be expected. So Citrus County, you can see we've got east to southeast winds at 5:30 in the morning, right? Watch as we go till about 8 a.m. That's when the winds are going to turn onshore. So it's going to be around sunrise when that wind turns onshore according to this model. This is going to change timing-wise, but you get the idea, somewhere in that range, and obviously working its way from south to north. Watches and warnings. We now have a hurricane warning in effect for Hillsborough, coastal counties, Ruskin, Apollo Beach, Bradenton, Brandon, all of South Tampa, downtown Tampa, just about line ball southward. It's coastal areas. West Chase, you're right in there. Look, this doesn't mean we're going to get 74 mile per hour winds. It means we can. There's a pretty good chance. I think we end up with winds in the 60s with gusts in the 70s to near 80. Pinellas County, the whole county is in it. Coastal Pasco, coastal Hernando, coastal Citrus County, and then up into Levy County as well on the coast. Elsewhere in the blue is tropical storm warning, so that means winds 40 to 50 mile per hour with some higher gusts. So inland locations won't see as much. Storm surge, as I mentioned, is now a storm surge warning. Yeah, that's weird that that's at 2 o'clock. That didn't update. And then again, numbers-wise, we're up to about 3 to 5 feet. I don't think that comes up more, but the problem is we will be having a tide. A low tide is good, right? But that's at 7, 8 o'clock tonight. And 3:30 in the morning is the high tide. It's only coming up 1.5 feet, but that's a pretty good movement for our tides. Not like what we had. But that tide will not drop much on the backside. And at the same time, 3:30, 4, 5 in the morning, we've got winds blowing in and pushing the water up. So it is kind of coming at closer to a high tide. Now, rainfall, we have a flood watch in effect for everybody. In fact, we just got a flood warning. Does anybody know where the flood warning was for? And then you can see rainfall totals. Yeah, it might be a river, but I'm just not sure if it's for. Yeah, it's the creeks, river, creek. Yeah. So 4 to 6 inches widespread is what we're talking about, and I agree with this particular forecast saying down here is likely going to be the heaviest, and we're going to get some training in many locations. Forecast model numbers are all over the place. 2 to 4 is kind of what they're showing here, but we'll get a little bit more than that. So here are the timings right now. We pushed this back a little bit. The storm has slowed. I think is it north at 9 right now, something like that. 9 miles per hour. Autumn says so. It's slowed down a little bit. It will. I think it picks up a little bit of speed this evening. Not a whole lot. So gusty winds with the winds picking up. 7 to 8 o'clock, 9 to 10 o'clock, really starting to pick up. Highest is likely here in this midnight to about 5 a.m. time frame. Yep. And then things will start to get better as we go through the day. Heavy rain will come in with that as well because those winds are basically embedded in those thunderstorms that have all the rain in it and just regular storms. Tornado threat, that comes on. We actually have a watch in effect now, right? So we're already watching the threat. But as the storm gets a little bit closer, it's this area in here through about 10 to 11, I think is the worst. I could back this down a little bit once we get past 2 a.m. Certainly not as much of a threat. The center will be due west of us at 2 a.m. is what we're thinking now. Once that gets to the north, it drops right off. Okay, so that's what we're thinking there. And now the surge will be a little bit later because when the center here is at just to our west, we've got east to southeast winds, perhaps southeast winds, maybe even south. Nothing on shore. But when the center moves to the north, we get down here with southwest winds, then our surge starts coming up. So I should probably push this up towards maybe 5 to 6 a.m. as well too. All right, guys, we got a lot going on here in the Weather Center. We want to keep you updated on air and online, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to get some quick questions from you, and then we're going to get off of here so we can get ready for the 5 o'clock show. You seen any questions pop up, anybody?
You want to look at this?
Vision's awful.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people are watching.
Okay, so let's see. Any questions here? Vicky Sue says she let her guard down, but she's playing, so that's good. Make sure your phone isn't on silent. I did that one, yeah. Is your volume up? Okay, I'm not seeing any questions right now, at least on this one comment. We're going on multiple different pages here. We will be on air at 5 o'clock. We'll be on air 5 through 6:30. We're doing hits at the top and the bottom of the hours. Outside of that, likely after 8, maybe 9 o'clock, when the winds really start to pick up, we will be going wall to wall here. We haven't made that decision yet. We're just going to kind of wait until we see what the weather looks like. Wall to wall means basically we'll be on Channel 10 constantly. We've got news crews up and down the coast right now. They're all getting staged right now. Some of them are already there. They've been there since 2 o'clock. Others are coming in right now. We will have you covered all the way through this storm, on air and online, so don't forget to follow all the socials. We've got Rick Kirby's, we've got Autumn Robertson's Facebook pages and Twitter and Instagram, so keep up with that. We would love to see your stuff. If you've got video, you got pictures, we want you to do it safely. We don't need your picture or video if you're going to threaten getting hurt to do that, right? We got cameras out there that are unmanned that we can throw out there. We're not worried about it. But if you have a safe time to take a picture or show this weather that's coming in, send it to us. We'd love it. One way to do that is 10 Tampa Bay Weather Network. It's a Facebook page. It's a private page. We'll let you in, but it's 10 Tampa Bay Weather Network. That's the name of it. Look it up. Ask to be let in, and you'll find lots of folks already posting stuff in there. And so we can just kind of take that and throw it right on air and give you credit. So we'd appreciate it.
Yeah, and also if you lose power at some point, because power outages probably will happen in places, and you want to watch our broadcast later tonight, if we are wall to wall and it's 1 in the morning and you want some coverage because you lost power, if you have your cell phone, that charged up, you can go to our website, 10tampabay.com, and you can stream our newscast live there. And also on the 10 Tampa Bay app, if you don't have that yet, go to your smartphone's app store and get the 10 Tampa Bay app. You'll get the alerts, and it's another way to connect with us. Especially if you lose power, it might be the only way. So that's a great thing to do.
And guys, you might want to break out your phone and use the Maps function. You really need to know where you are on a map, because I just went through and I showed this time where the wind goes through, right? And there you go, right? So, but then I see questions like, well, what about Pinellas Park? What about Largo? What about Clearwater? Guys, if you know where you are on this map, then you'll be able to kind of figure that out, because I can't tell everybody every town. So it really does help if you know. For instance, there's Tarpon Springs right there. At what time? 3 o'clock. So what's the wind going to be in Tarpon Springs? Is there going to be more wind there or Lakeland? And if you look at this, the legend says 39 to 73, 58, so obviously less wind there. So it really helps if you know where you are on the map. And I know, I had somebody tell me that one time, and I was like, man, that's rude.
The next hit's going to be at 27:33, not exactly at
Okay.
4:30.
And I thought it was kind of rude, but then I found out a lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
And it's not your fault or anything like that, but it's just something that we live in maps all the time. And we know we're tracking storms all the time. A lot of people don't, and so it really helps to know where you are. So when you're watching, you can see where especially with forecasts, something like this.
Yeah, and when we get in the heart of the storm, it's hard to answer everybody's questions, obviously, until we broadcast. So, figure that out, and know your, for hurricane season in general, know your evacuation zone, but you need to know where you are, so when things are warned or we're showing you things on a map, you know how that pertains to you.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we're going to get off here now and get back to getting things ready for the 5 o'clock show. I wanted to show you this graphic because where the storm is now, I use these lines. This is the quadrant. If you take the center of this thing and you split it up this way and that way, this area is where we have the best tornado threat. That's where we have the tornado watch now. As this moves northward, that will move northward as well too. All right, so that's something that we're going to be keeping an eye on as we go through the evening hours. Look, Elsa, Ada, I should say, versus Hermine for storm surge. Somewhere in the middle. If you're in a storm surge situation, you probably remember those two. Ada was last November, right? And we had a lot of flooding in some locations at least. I think this might be a little less than that, but it's going to be kind of close. And you can see it's actually moving pretty good, so we may even have to adjust the time in a minute. It's got some pretty good wind already.
Yeah, and if you're inland and you're not in a storm surge situation, it's going to be just a lot of wind, that tornado threat, and some heavy rain. Those are your biggest factors.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we're going to let you go. We will get you caught up here at 5 o'clock on 10 Tampa Bay. In fact, Rick, you want to do 4:30, so 4:27 and 30
You
seconds.
bet, sure.
Rick will be on TV as well, showing you that. And Autumn is sitting there. Autumn is he'll do all kinds of social and stories on our Facebook page and on our 10 Tampa Bay app. So I highly recommend get the app. Not only does the 10 Tampa Bay app have the radar, it's a really good one, it also has future radar. So you can click a button, say future, and then scroll out through time and see what it's going to look like in your particular area. Okay, guys, have a good one.
Take care.